All right, guys, welcome to 2.2. We're going to solve two-step equations. Our essential question, how do you solve two-step equations in one variable? So we're still going to be using one variable. This time our equations are going to be two steps long, not just one step. All right, so similar to yesterday, we're going to try to figure out how much money is in these chests. Now, yesterday we only had one chest. Today there's three. Let's just all assume the same amount of money is in all three chests, okay? So we're gonna just start doing the one for you and one for me thing. All right, so we got a quarter here and a quarter here, and I'm gonna do the dime also with the two nickels. Okay, so we subtracted 10 from each side, right? I mean, we can think of this addition, subtraction. Okay, then we're gonna subtract a penny from this side, and we're gonna subtract a penny from this side. Okay, so how much money do we have left? Well, we have, let's see, 50, 60, 6. So we have 66. Really, so we have three chests, and so if we want to think of them as variables, 3C, and then on this side we have 66 cents left, right? And so review from yesterday, how do we get rid of the 3 in it so we can isolate the C? Well, you have to divide by 3 because you have to split it evenly with three chests. So 66 divided by 3, and so we end up with in each chest there is 22 cents. Okay, so which operation did we use first? Well, first off, what did we do? We took money away, right? And so what mathematical operation is taking away? It's subtraction, right? So we subtracted first. Okay, then what operation did we use after that? After we subtracted all of the money from each side that we could, then we were left with the 3C equals 66, and we had to divide, right? So this leads us into PEMDAS, our order of operations. I learned it as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Everyone has an Aunt Sally that you're just slightly embarrassed about. And so this is a good acronym to remind us of what order things go in. Okay, so the P stands for parentheses. It might be faster to type this. So parentheses. And then we have E is for exponents, and then multiplication and division from left to right. Okay, this is important because multiplication and division happen in the same step, but we're going to do them from left to right. So if it's division, the furthest to the left, we're going to do division first. Okay, so it's from left to right, and then A and S stand for addition and subtraction, also from left to right. Okay, so I know that kind of overlapped there, but that is order of operations. Now, if you're simplifying, okay, so what we just did was simplifying. You're trying to isolate the, I'm sorry, simplifying would be you're just taking it down to its simplest form, okay? You're going to use PEMDAS. If you're solving, you're actually going to go the other direction, and you're going to do SADMEP. And so like we did in the original warm-up problem, you're going to subtract first, and then you'll get all kind of the junk away from the variable. And then once all the junk is gone, you'll deal with the number that's kind of attached to the variable. All right, so just write this down. When we're solving something, we're going to work backwards, actually, and we're going to do SADMEP. When we're simplifying something down, which we'll work with later, that's when you want to use the PEMDAS. All right, so first off, what is the solution of 2x plus 11 equals 51? It's the start of the year. I'm a little bit off, guys. Bear with me. All right, so remember, when we're solving, okay, we're finding the solution. We're solving. We're going to use SADMEP. Okay, so we're going to start with subtraction and addition. And so that for us, just like that coin problem, we're going to subtract away the extra. If you want to do your wall, you can. Okay, and so we're left with 2x. And then 51 minus 11 is 40. Okay, and then how do we undo 2 times x? Well, we need to divide by 2. And so we're going to end up with x equals, and we need to do it to both sides. So 40 divided by 2 is 20. Okay, for this one, what is the solution of 10 plus 2x equals 20? Again, you want to do the addition and subtraction first. You want to get rid of the outside junk, if that makes sense to you. So we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. And so 10 minus 10 is 0. That cancels itself out. We're left with 2x. Okay, 20 minus 10 equals 10. Okay, and then how do we get rid of the 2 times x? We need to divide by 2 so that we can get x by itself. And do it to both sides. Whoops, divide by 2. And so 10 divided by 2 is 5. All right, problem 3 here. What's the solution of x plus 5 divided by 6 equals 15? Now, this is tricky because what we've been doing is, oh yeah, you need to add, the whole SADMAP thing, right? SADMAP. You need to add and subtract first before we multiply or divide. Well, that is normally true, except if everything is being divided, there are these like little invisible parentheses that usually we leave off. Okay, so technically this stuff is in parentheses because it's all being divided by 6. Okay, this part, x is being divided by 6 and 5 is being divided by 6. Does that make sense? And so this is all in parentheses. Anytime a bunch of stuff is over top of a number, you can draw in parentheses to remind yourself that that's actually parentheses. Okay, so this step is going to happen all the way at the end, right? So we don't actually have any addition or subtraction. Like there's not a plus 1 out here, right? So since there's no addition or subtraction outside of here, like over this side or over to this side, we can skip those steps. Division or multiplication, well, we do have division. Okay, so we're going to multiply by 6, and that's going to cancel that out. We also multiply by 6 over here. Okay, so we're left with x plus 5. 15 times 6. Well, we can do this in our head, right? So 15 times 4 is 60, if you think of a clock, right? It goes in groups of 15. Okay, so 15 times 4 is 60, and then we have 2 more 15s, and 2 times 15 is 30. And so 60 plus 30 is 90. That was rough, sorry guys. All right, so now we have addition and subtraction, which really was in our parentheses, right? And so since we don't have anything else, we can drop the parentheses off, and we can just subtract the 5. So we get 85. Okay. Now people ask, oh, it's just so confusing to me. Well, think of it as you're doing x divided by 6 plus 5/6, like because the 5 is being divided by the 6, right? And so you can't just subtract 5 because you're not subtracting 5, you're subtracting 5/6. Okay, and so I don't really care for fractions, and a lot of students don't either. If you do, that's fine, but I would just prefer to get rid of the 6 right away and then subtract the 5. It's easier for me. All right. All right, so here, hint, distance equals rate times time. Okay, so how fast you're going times the amount of time you're doing it, that's how far you go. All right, so here's our problem. A train is 100 miles away from a station. Okay, so we can probably label our picture here, 100 miles away. It's approaching the station at 40 miles per hour. Right? How long will it take for the train to arrive? Okay, and remember, rate times time equals distance, right? Okay, so let's plug in what we know. Okay, a train is 100 miles away from the station. So how far does it have to go? It has 100 miles. All right, and it's approaching the station at 40 miles per hour, and so that would be our rate of speed, 40 miles per hour. And our question is asking how long, so how much time will it take to reach the station? So it's 40 t equals 100. It's 40 miles per hour times how much time will get you 100 miles. Okay, 40 times t, so we're going to divide by 40 to both sides. So we're left with t equals. Now here, I'm going to cross off this one set of zeros. Okay, we don't need them. So 10 divided by 4, that is 2.5. 2.5. Now what's our label? It's going to take us 2.5 hours. Right? Another word problem. Guys, word problems are not scary. I promise you they're not scary. Up on the front of the wall by the board, I have an acronym to help you with word problems. It's the RISE acronym. RISE stands for read the problem, and then illustrate, and then set up the problem, and then evaluate. So we'll walk through it together in class. Word problems aren't that hard. It's a language. Just get the words you need from the problem. With practice, it gets easier. All right, so you decide to rent an apartment for college. You must pay the landlord 2 months' rent. So let's underline that. That seems important. 2 months' rent. And then you also have to pay a $400 security deposit, okay, in case you scratch up a wall or something when you sign the lease. Okay, so the total amount you pay the landlord that day is $2,110. And so then we have to figure out how much is rent for 1 month. That's what the question's asking us. Okay. And you will have to do this. I've had to do this several times with renting various properties. So you give the landlord 2 months rent. So we'll do M for months. So you give them 2 months worth, and also $400 for a security deposit. So also $400 in a security deposit. And the total amount you pay that day is $2,110. All right, right? You give them that much money. Oops. You give them $2,110. That includes the security deposit and 2 months rent. And we need to figure out how much is 1 month rent. So we need to isolate M. First step is to subtract. Go into our wall here. Okay, so 2,110 subtract it. I'm going to try to do mental math here as best I can. We're left with 2M on this side because this cancels out. Okay, and left to right, we got, or sorry, right to left, 0, 1, we borrow, 11 minus 4 is 7, and we still have 1 sitting out here. Okay. And now what do we need to do to get M by itself? We need to divide, and I'm running out of room here. I guess I could go down, but we'll go down. All right, so we'll divide by 2 on both sides. All right, 1710 divided by 2. 2 goes into 17 8 times with 1 left over. And then bring down the 1. And so 2 goes into 11 5 times with 1 left over. And then you bring down the 0. And again, 2 goes into 10 5 times again. You can use a calculator. I'm trying to challenge myself because I've spent all summer not doing any mental math. And so I'm trying to get back into the swing of it. Let's just check just to make sure we're right. I'm a little bit rusty after the summer. I am. 8:55.